When did you first learn you were adopted, and how did that shape you growing up?
I found out I was adopted when I was 3.5, so I was in foster care first and then I was adopted. I think it shaped me into thinking that not every single family is the same, and it's made me who I am because I've got to experience more things that I thought I wouldn't experience.
How did your adoptive family talk about and approach adoption in your home?
We're all very open about it and we talk about it all the time, and if I have any questions or queries when I was younger, we would be very open about it. And when I first got adopted, one of my social workers created a life story book for me which we looked over and spoke about.
In what ways has being adopted influenced your sense of identity?
I think it's basically helped who I've become, and it shaped me because obviously every single family is different, and I think being adopted, is just a part of my life and it's not a major deal. Most people think it is, but I think I've become who I am with the help of my parents now.
What were some of the biggest challenges or strengths in your adoptive family experience?
I think moving homes and getting into a new family life and new routine with new people is definitely quite challenging because you have that fear of having to go to another home again, or the fear of not being fitting in or wanted. So I think definitely fitting into the village I'm in and the schools I've been in, I think that's quite challenging.
Have you ever felt curious about your birth family, and if so, what led to that curiosity?
Well, I've always been kind of close with my sisters because I've got 3 birth sisters, and we used to see each other 3 times a year, and now I'm in contact with them. I think just generally knowing about my family and stuff like that and talking about adoption is sort of led to my curiosity.
If you've searched or connected with your birth family, what was that experience like for you?
As I said, I'm very close with my birth siblings, and it's very nice seeing them a lot of the time and going to see them and talk to them and talk about life in general, because they were in foster care whereas I was adopted, so everything's a bit different for all of us.
What are some common misconceptions about adoption that you wish people did understand?
I think that a lot of people think that every single adoption is the same and it's the same principles, whereas everything's different. And also a lot of people think that people are adopted because their parents either die or they've been orphaned. I think that people need to understand that there are so many different reasons why people get adopted.
What do you hope others take away from hearing your adoption story?
I hope that a lot of people, if they're older, then they can't have kids naturally, that they think, oh, maybe there are children out there that need a happy and healthy home, because a lot of people do IVF and that costs a lot of money, and there are a lot of children that need home. And I hope it spreads awareness and gives more cause to adoption because it doesn't get spoken about widely. What was the most surprising part of the adoption process?
I think the most surprising part when you adopt a child is how much a child can become to be like you in all ways, physically and emotionally, and just it's an interesting study in nurture versus nature, really, I think.
What inspired you to pursue adoption?
Well, I think we initially really wanted a sibling for our birth child, Oscar, and we didn't want him to grow up to be an only child. And then as we pursued the journey, then we realised what a fulfilling and worthwhile experience it was.
How has adoption changed your family life?
I think it's been difficult for our birth child, Oscar, to suddenly get a 3-year-old arrive. And I think it's difficult for Alisha, our adopted child, to sort of integrate into a completely new family when she was already 3 years old. So I feel like Oscar felt that Alisha was like a cuckoo coming into the nest, and Alisha felt that Oscar was the chosen one because he was the birth child. So I feel like that dynamic was really tricky. You're a little princess, are you? And is Oscar a prince?
No, Oscar's here rubber.
He's the robber.
Oh.
Stop.
Who's your prince?
Go.
Ow.
Huh?
Daddy.
Daddy's your prince.
Don't kick me.
Ask.
How well it all turned out in the end, really. And then social services, they provided loads of support for us, and especially the post-adoption kind of family counselling service. I didn't realise that would all happen. I don't think many places offer that around the country.
What inspired you to pursue adoption?
Well, we had challenges having a family naturally, and our son was born through IVF, and then after that we thought, well, we want another sibling for him, and we wanted another child in our family, so we started looking at adoption. And then once you start looking into it, you realise how many children there are in care who actually need a forever family.
How did adoption change your family life?
Changed the dynamic, going from 3 people to 4, definitely, and that was something we wanted to start to get used to. It was just, yeah, it changed the whole way things worked between us.
I think the biggest challenge is how much time a baby takes up, and just how little you can get done with them around. Not to say that's a bad thing, because it's lovely to have them around, but you obviously have to keep one eye on them all the time and sort of attend to their needs, which can prevent you from doing, even basic things like cleaning the house or doing the washing or going out and doing the shopping. So it's kind of those mundane tasks that you sort of take for granted, but they become really tricky once you have to spend your entire day looking after another person.
So, at the end, what's been the most rewarding moment so far?
I think it's when our child smiles at us and is laughing and is really happy, and doing silly things like trying to eat their feet, stuff like that. That's for me the most rewarding part of it. And every day you wake up, it's something new. They're doing something new. They're learning something new. You can see the cogs in their head turning, and that makes the whole process really worthwhile.
Perfect. Thank you.
How did you first meet your friend who's adopted?
Well, on the first day of college, obviously, you were one of the first people that I spoke to, and it made it easier to kind of make friends, because I was kind of worried that I wouldn't make any when I came to college.
What do you enjoy most about your friendship with them or with me?
I like the fact that we're able to have a laugh and actually get on with each other, whereas a lot of people I just found that I can't really connect with them in a special way, and I found that I have with you, and actually made a special bond compared to a lot of people.
Has their adoption ever come up in your conversations, or is it more about everyday life?
It's more about everyday life between us, but obviously we do bring up the occasional something about adoption, and we do have that conversation, but I try and help you and support you through it if you do ever tell me.
What's something you've learned from being close to someone who's adopted?
I found that there's specific aspects that they find hard to deal with, so trying to open up to people and actually find creating a communication and having a bond with someone is quite hard, and I feel like it takes time to actually build that with somebody.
How do you make sure you're respectful when the topic of adoption comes up?
I try and make sure I'm not to mention too much about it or try and brag about questions and stuff like that, and I just want to make sure that I can respect them and actually comfort them and actually give them support for it all.
How do you support your friend when they talk about their background?
By giving reassurance and actually showing that I'm there for them, and I'm not just going to disappear in an instant. I'll be there if they need me.
What's one thing you admire about how they go through life?
Well, I find that you go through life quite normally, but obviously there's certain things that you might have to do differently, and obviously I'm there to respect that, and if there's something you need to adapt to, I'll try and adapt to it as well.
What's your favourite memory that you've shared with them?
When the both of us went to a concert together, and I thought that night was quite, just the two of us, and made it quite memorable and nice to actually think back on.
What do you hope for your friendship going forward?
I just hope for more nice times together and actually being able to spend more time with one another and actually create those memories that we want to keep safe. And I find that just making more friendships and getting along with them together is quite a big aspect of it as well.